Okay, let's dive into a corner of the wine world that honestly holds an incredible story. We're talking deep history, resilience, and a really exciting renaissance happening right now. Bulgarian wine.
It really is a fascinating subject. Yeah, we've looked through a whole stack of sources you sent over, articles, notes, research, basically covering everything from, ancient roots right up to today's market.
Right. And our mission here is pretty straightforward. Cut through all that info, pull out the key stuff, the surprises, the must-knows, so you walk away feeling genuinely clued in about Bulgarian wine. And maybe, just maybe, keen to try some.
Think of it as your fast track guide.
Exactly. A shortcut to a hidden gem. So where do we even kick things off with Bulgarian wine? The sources, they jump right out with this incredibly long history. Just how far back are we talking?
We're talking way back, prehistory almost. The evidence for actual grape growing and winemaking in this specific region, it goes back over 6,000 years.
Wow.
Yeah, that makes it one of the oldest continuous wine traditions, well, anywhere really.
6,000 years.
Yeah.
That's kind of staggering. And who were the original winemakers then?
The Thracians, they lived in the lands that are now Bulgaria, and wine wasn't just a drink for them, it was, well, fundamental, part of their identity.
Oh,
They worshipped Dionysus, the god of wine. It was central to rituals, daily life. Archaeological finds, especially down in the Thracian Valley, showed they had some surprisingly sophisticated techniques. And they were already working with native grapes back then.
that Dionysus connection really says something, doesn't it? It wasn't just farming, it was culture. So after the Thracians, Romans, Byzantines, they must have had an impact.
Oh, definitely. They built on what was there from, say, the 1st to the 14th centuries as the Roman and then Byzantine empires expanded. They saw the potential. They invested in infrastructure, roads, maybe irrigation,
Aye.
and refined techniques. Also, monasteries became really important during this time. They weren't just making wine, they were preserving the know-how. Wine became a pretty big trade item, too.
But then things got difficult. Middle Ages, Ottoman rule.
Yeah.
That sounds like a major setback for winemaking.
It was a huge challenge, yeah. 14th to 19th centuries, under Ottoman rule, Islamic law often discouraged alcohol, so production plummeted.
Dear.
A lot of vineyards were actually destroyed or just converted to grow other things. Really sad.
So did the tradition just vanish
Yeah.
after thousands of years?
Well, this is where it gets really interesting and you see the resilience. It didn't die out, not completely.
Mhm.
It survived, kind of quietly,
Yeah.
Within Christian communities, other minorities, production became really small scale, mostly for personal use, maybe religious reasons.
Keeping it alive.
Exactly. And crucially, this is where those unique indigenous grapes and the old ways of doing things were kept safe, hidden away in isolated areas. They were the link back.
Wow. Okay. So the heart of it survived. Fast forward, 20th century,
Yeah.
the socialist era. Another massive
Like,
change,
it's
right?
complete transformation. Everything was nationalized, huge state cooperatives.
Yeah.
The focus, mass production, volume, mostly for the Eastern Bloc market.
Quantity over quality.
Pretty much. Quality often suffered. And they planted tons of international grapes, Cab Sauv, Merlot, because they produced reliably and met the quotas. Bulgaria became a huge exporter, but you could argue it lost some of its soul, its unique identity during that time.
Then communism falls.
Yeah,
The transition must have been chaotic, but also maybe an opportunity.
precisely that.
Yeah.
Chaos, yes. Privatization fragmented the land, which was tricky, but it also opened the door. Investment started coming in.
Modernization.
Yep. Money for better tech in the vineyards, in the cellars, new methods adopted. And the really key thing, a deliberate shift back towards quality and rediscovering those native grapes and the specific terroir that had been ignored for so long.
Which leads us to now,
Yeah.
this sort of a 21st century renaissance.
That's exactly what it is. The last 20 years or so have seen this dramatic leap in quality. Bulgarian wines are winning awards internationally, getting great reviews. They're reclaiming their spot. And what they offer now is authenticity, high quality, and often, as the sources really point out, fantastic value for money.
Okay, so that history sets the scene, survival, comeback. Let's talk about the place. Bulgaria's terroir. It sounds incredibly diverse. How does that feed into the wines?
It's hugely diverse geographically. That's fundamental. You've got major mountain ranges, the Balkans or Star Planina cutting across, and the Rhodopes down south. Then vast plains, the Danubian Plain north, Thracian Plains south, river valleys everywhere, creating all these little microclimates. It's quite a patchwork.
And the overall climate picture.
Mostly temperate continental,
Right.
which means, Hot, dry summers, great for ripening grapes, getting concentration,
Good.
but also cold, snowy winters, which is tough for growers but gives the vines that essential dormant period.
How do the mountains and the sea play into that?
The Staraplanina, the Balkan Mountains, are crucial. They act like a shield, protecting the Thracian Valley to the south from those cold winds blowing down from the north. So the south gets this significantly warmer, almost Mediterranean feel, really important for grapes that need longer to ripen. Then the Black Sea on the east coast moderates things there, milder temperatures, a bit more humidity.
And the sources kept mentioning thermal amplitude. What's that about? Why does it matter?
Right, thermal amplitude, it's just the difference between the daytime high temperature and the nighttime low.
Big swing.
Yeah, especially inland and at higher altitudes, and it's super important. The warm days ripen the grapes, build sugars, flavors. The cool nights, they preserve the acidity. That balanced ripeness and freshness is key for quality wines that can age.
Makes sense. And the soils sound just as varied.
Totally. It's a geological mosaic underfoot. You find rich alluvial soils in river valleys, good for generous wines. Clay soils that hold moisture, giving body. Limestone for minerality, elegance. Sandy soils, well-drained, often lighter, aromatic wines. Even old volcanic basalt soils giving distinct mineral notes.
So the ground itself is really speaking through the grape.
Exactly. Soil affects drainage, water, mineral uptake, all these little nuances that shape how the grape expresses itself.
Okay, this amazing mix of climate and soil must create distinct wine regions. The sources point to 5 main zones. Where should we start our tour?
Let's start up north, Danubian Plain. Between the Danube River and the Balkan Mountains, classic continental climate, cold winters, hot summers, soils often alluvial clay.
And the wines, what's typical there?
Known for medium to full-bodied reds. You get your international stars like Cab Sauv and Merlot, but also, importantly, the native Gamza.
Gamza.
Yeah, often shows a slightly rustic, characterful style here. You also find some nice fresh white wines. Gamza typically gives you red fruit notes, maybe some spice, an earthy touch.
Okay, moving east then, towards the coast.
The Black Sea region. Climate's much milder here, moderated by the sea. Soils tend to be sandier, really well suited for fresh, aromatic whites.
Any specific local whites to look out for?
Definitely. The indigenous Dimia is key here. You'll find Chardonnay and Sauvignon Blanc too, of course, and it's a good spot for delicate, fruity rosés.
Dimyat, what's that like?
Dimyat leaves lovely floral, citrusy aromas, sometimes the subtle kind of almond note on the finish. Very distinctive.
Interesting. What about the middle of the country, the Rose Valley? Famous for roses, right?
Absolutely famous for rose oil. But it's also a serious wine region. Continental climate, varied soils, known for fresh whites, including another really interesting native grape, red misket, and some lighter reds.
Red misket, does it actually smell like roses?
Oh!
It often really does. It's incredibly aromatic, loves it there. Intense rose notes, spices, citrus, makes these really vibrant, perfumed white wines.
Okay, south of the Balkan Mountains now. The historic heartland.
The Thracian Valley, yeah, probably the oldest, most important region historically, shielded by the mountains. So it's hotter, drier, clay and sandy soils are common. This is powerhouse territory for full-bodied, complex reds.
And the star grape here is Mavrud, no question. It's the emblem of Bulgarian red wine. Intense color, firm tannins that really soften with age, complex smells. Think black fruits, pepper, tobacco, earthy notes, even a dry vegetal thing going on. Ages brilliantly.
Wow.
You also get fantastic Cabernet Sauvignon and Merlot Syrah from here, too.
Right. And lastly, way down southwest.
The Struma Valley. More Mediterranean influence here, but still continental, mountain-influenced, sandy, granitic soils. You find Mavrud, other reds, but its unique claim to fame is Shiroka Melnishka Loza. Most people just call it Melnik.
Melnik. What makes that one special?
It's truly local autochthonous. Really only thrives there because it ripens super late and needs that intense heat. It makes these intensely colored reds, firm tannins, complex aromas, red fruit, spice, often smoky, earthy notes. It can definitely age well, too.
That tour really highlights just how many unique native grapes Bulgaria has. Let's focus on those a bit more. They seem absolutely central to what makes Bulgarian wine distinctive.
Oh, they're absolutely the key. You have to understand them to get Bulgarian wine. Starting with the reds, like you said, Mavrud is the big one. Ancient roots in the Thracian Valley, right back to the Thracians.
So if I pour a glass of Mavrud, what am I looking for, sensory-wise?
Expect a really deep color. On the palate, firm tannins are typical, especially when young. They definitely soften up with age or even just decanting. Good balanced acidity. And the aromas, complex. Dark fruits, blackberry, black cherry maybe. Black pepper, tobacco leaf, that earthy thing, the dry vegetal note. It's robust, built for the long haul.
Firm tannins. Needs food then.
Absolutely. Stands up beautifully to big flavors. Grilled red meats, game, stews, aged hard cheeses. Classic pairings.
Got it. The sources also mentioned Reuben. That was created in Bulgaria, wasn't it? How's that different?
Yeah, Reuben's a cool story. A crossing made in Bulgaria in 1944. It's Nebbiolo crossed with Syrah.
Interesting combo.
Right. It gives intense color, good body, but the tannins are often, well, softer, more approachable than Mavrut, especially younger.
Sounds maybe a bit easier drinking when young.
Often, yeah. Lovely aromas, blackberry, plum, spice, sometimes violets, and it's pretty versatile with food. Grilled meats, roasts, richer pasta dishes, medium cheeses work well.
Okay. What about Gamza, the lighter one from the north?
And you might know it as Kadarka in Hungary. Usually gives a lighter, fresher red style. It's got this vibrant sort of light ruby color, bright acidity, soft tannins. Aromas are all about fresh red fruits, cherry, raspberry, maybe some herbal notes.
Sounds like a good summer red.
Yeah, definitely. Usually best drunk young and maybe even slightly chilled. Its freshness makes it great with lighter food salads, grilled fish, mild cheeses, veggie dishes.
And the really unique one from the southwest, Melnik.
Shiroka Melnishka Loza. Melnik, remember, needs that heat, ripens late. Expect intense color again, pretty firm tannins and complex aromas, red fruits, spice, and those smoky, earthy notes. Definitely has aging potential, too.
Okay, onto the white natives, Dimiat from the coast.
Dimiat's the main white grape along the Black Sea. Benefits from that sea breeze. Usually makes wines with nice balanced acidity, really fresh, easy drinking style.
And the taste.
Aromas tend towards white fruits, pear, apple, maybe some white flowers, herbaceous hints, and that signature subtle almond finish. It's used for dry whites, sometimes distillation too. Quite versatile.
And red misket from the Rose Valley. Sounds intriguing.
Red misket, or misket chervin, it's all about the perfume, thrives in the Rose Valley. Phenomenal aromatics.
Kind of like roses.
Often, yes. Roses, lychee, citrus, spice. The wines are vibrant. The acidity keeps it really fresh on the palate. Just a wonderfully aromatic, lively white. Great on its own.
So those indigenous grapes are Bulgaria's real signature. But the sources are clear. International grapes are also a big deal there.
Oh, absolutely massive. Reds like Cab Sauv, Merlot, Syrah, Pinot Noir, they're widely planted, and they've adapted really well to the climate.
So does Bulgarian Cab taste different from, say, a French or Californian one?
It can, yeah. The terroir and the winemaking style leave their mark. Bulgarian Cab and Merlot often seem a bit fruitier, maybe with slightly softer tannins than some classic Old World versions. Syrah is doing really well, often showing great black pepper and dark fruit. Pinot Noir, usually in cooler spots, can be really elegant, subtle.
And the international whites. Chardonnay and Sauvignon Blanc.
Yep, they're there too, along with some Riesling. Chardonnay can be anything from crisp and unoaked to rich and barrel fermented here. Sauvignon Blanc gives you that classic freshness, grassy citrus notes, but often with a distinct Bulgarian mineral edge. Riesling's less common, but can make lovely high-acid wines that age well.
So it's a mix then. Unique local grapes alongside familiar international ones, all shaped by the place.
Exactly. The climate delivers right fruit and good structure for the international varieties, and the soils add that local nuance. It means there's a fantastic diversity of styles available for us to try.
Right. To get those grapes tasting so good, what's happening out in the vineyards? What are the key practices?
Well, the big shift has been towards quality, moving away from just chasing volume like in the past. So meticulous vineyard work is key.
How do they train the vines? What does that look like?
The most common system is espalier training the vines along wires. It's efficient, gives great sun exposure, good air circulation around the grapes, helps ripening, reduces disease. You might still see the older bush vine system, freestanding vines, in some traditional drier spots.
And controlling the yield, making sure the grapes are top quality.
Pruning is crucial. It's really an art. Careful pruning controls the vine's energy and, most importantly, limits how many grapes each vine produces. Fewer grapes means more concentrated flavor.
Quality over quantity, yeah.
Exactly. Plus, canopy management, like removing some leaves to get better sun on the grapes for even ripening, and again, a better airflow to keep things healthy.
Now, climate was mentioned as a challenge. What are the specific headaches for growers?
They get it from both ends. Winter frost is a real risk, especially for young buds, can cause significant damage in bad years. Then the summer's hot and dry. Good for ripening, but drought stress can be a problem if it's not managed. That can lead to uneven ripening, lower quality, and humidity, especially near the coast or rivers, means fungal diseases like mildew are a constant threat. They can spread fast.
So how do they cope? What are the adaptations?
Adaptation is the name of the game. Choosing the right grape varieties for the specific site is step one. Using controlled irrigation where needed and allowed. Preventative treatments, increasingly organic ones against disease. Good pruning, managing the soil well. And more, using modern tech like weather stations to make smart decisions. Resilience is just built in.
Is there a push towards sustainability using newer tech?
Definitely. It's a growing priority, especially for the more forward-thinking producers. More organic and biodynamic farming, reducing chemicals, focusing on soil health, biodiversity. Getting certified is becoming more important too, especially for exports.
And tech in the vineyard itself.
Precision viticulture is making its way in. Using sensors, drones, detailed weather data to manage things more efficiently, optimize water use, treatments. And in the winery, modern kit like temperature-controlled tanks, gentle pneumatic presses they allow for really precise winemaking, helps capture the purity of the fruit, the terroir.
Grapes harvested into the cellar. Let's talk winemaking. Red wines are the backbone, the sources said.
Yeah, they make up the biggest share and include many of the most famous wines. For reds, it usually starts with maceration, leaving the skins with the juice to get that color, tannin, flavor. Then controlled fermentation, often in stainless steel, maybe concrete, sometimes wood. Oak barrels, French or American, are common for wines meant to age, adding structure and complexity. Malolactic fermentation usually happens too, softening tannins, adding layers.
And the styles that come out of that.
A real range. You get young, fruity styles, think some Gamza, maybe young Merlot, meant to be fresh, easy drinkers. Then you have the serious stuff, Mavrood, Cabernet Rubin, built for complexity and aging, with more body, structure, aromas that evolve over time.
And those indigenous grapes really stamp their mark on the final wine.
Oh, hugely. Mavrood, Rubin, Gamza, they bring unique flavors you just don't find elsewhere. It's their signature.
What about the whites? What's the approach there?
The focus now is very much on purity, freshness, aromatics, so gentle pressing, cool fermentation, mostly in stainless steel to keep things vibrant.
So mostly unoaked.
Mostly, yes, though you will find some fuller Chardonnays that see oak, showing that versatility. But generally think fresh and aromatic for Dimiot, Red Muscat, Sauvignon Blanc, bright acidity, lovely fruit and floral notes.
And rosé. Popular everywhere now. How's Bulgaria doing?
Doing very well. Bulgarian rosés are increasingly popular, often delicious. Made from red grapes, Mavrood, Gamza, Cab Sauv, maybe with just a short time on skins. Vibrant colors, fruity smells, refreshing acidity, perfect summer wines.
Were there mentions of any other special styles?
Yes, though less common, some producers make excellent sweet or dessert wines, usually from grapes left to raisin or affected by noble rot. Concentrated, complex, lovely, long finish.
And the person overseeing all this, the indidologist?
The enologist, yeah, the winemaker. They're like the conductor, interpreting the grapes, the terroir, guiding the whole process, balancing tradition with modern smarts, aiming for wines that express Bulgaria but also compete globally.
Okay, to make sure what's in the bottle is authentic and meets certain standards, there's a regulation system, right? Similar to France or Italy.
That's right. Bulgaria uses the EU classification system. It's designed to protect the origin, guarantee authenticity, and set quality benchmarks.
What are the main categories we should know?
The top level is PDO, Protected Designation of Origin, or DOP in Bulgarian. Wines with DOP on the label have to come from a very specific, defined area, and their quality, their character, has to be fundamentally linked to that unique place, the terroir, the traditional methods. Strictest rules apply here.
Okay, and below that?
There's PGI, Protected Geographical Indication, IGP in Bulgarian. This covers a larger geographical area and allows a bit more flexibility in how the wine is made compared to PDO. Still guarantees origin and quality, but the rules are less restrictive.
So Bulgaria has its own specific DOPs and IGPs defined on the map.
Exactly. These define the regions like Thracian Valley PGI, or maybe a smaller specific DOP within it, and lay out the precise rules producers have to follow to use that name.
What kind of rules are we talking about?
Pretty detailed stuff. Which grape varieties are allowed native and international? The exact boundaries of the growing area. Maximum yields, how many grapes per hectare to ensure concentration, sometimes specific vineyard practices like pruning methods, and rules for the winery too, fermentation techniques, aging requirements, maybe minimum time in barrel or bottle before release. It's all about guaranteeing authenticity and quality tied to place.
Right, let's get to the fun part, tasting. If you pour a glass of Bulgarian wine, what should you expect? Can we quickly recap those main grape profiles?
Definitely. Mavrud, the flagship red. Remember deep color, those black fruit, spice, tobacco, earthy, dry vegetal notes. Medium to full body, firm tannins needing time, balanced acidity.
Ribbon.
Also dark fruit, blackberry, plum, plus spice, maybe violets. Good body, but often softer tannins than Mavrud. Smooth.
Gamsa, the lighter red.
Fresh red fruits, cherry, raspberry, maybe herbaceous hints. Lighter body, bright acidity, soft tannins. Drink young.
Okay, whites.
Dimyat.
White fruits, pear, apple floral, herbal notes, that signature subtle almond finish. Fresh, clean, balanced.
And the super aromatic red misket.
Intense. Roses, lychee, citrus spice. Really vibrant and aromatic, persistent flavor. And across the board, that diverse terroir comes through. You often find this lovely freshness, sometimes minerality, good fruit ripeness from the sun, and structure for aging from the soils. The landscape really shapes the wine.
Now, pairing. Bulgarian food is known for being hearty, flavorful. How do the wines mesh with that?
Oh, it's a natural fit. Pairing food and wine is just part of the culture there.
Okay, give us some examples. Classic dishes. Kebabchi, ketufte, those grilled minced meats.
Right, those need something robust. Full-bodied reds are perfect. Mavrud, a Bulgarian Cabernet Sauvignon or Syrah, they have the intensity to match the spice and meatiness.
What about banitsa, the phyllo pastry thing with cheese or veggies? Ugh, banitsa. You need something to cut through the richness there. Fresh whites like dimyat or red muscat work brilliantly. Their acidity cleanses the palate. A dry, crisp rosé is also a great shout.
And the classic Shopska salata, tomatoes, cucumber, that Cyrene cheese.
For those bright, fresh salads, you want something equally fresh. Aromatic whites like Sauvignon Blanc or a light, fruity rosé, they just enhance all those vibrant flavors.
And for heavier dishes, stews, slow-cooked meats.
Match richness with richness. Back to the full-bodied reds, Mavrud or Reuben have the depth and complexity needed for those complex, savory dishes.
Okay, solid pairing ideas. Any final tips for someone tasting Bulgarian wine, maybe for the first time?
Temperature matters. Reds often best slightly cool, maybe 16-18 Celsius. Whites and rosés need a good chill, say 8-12 Celsius. Use a decent glass, helps with the aromas. And just, take a moment. Look at the color, give it a swirl, smell it, then taste it properly. Think about the acidity, the tannins and reds, the overall balance, how long the flavor lasts.
And if people want to seek some out, were there any specific producers mentioned in the sources as good starting points?
Yes, several came up known for quality and representing different styles. Names like Boyar Estates, Domaine Boyar, Katorzina Estate, Kostrorubra, Logodaj Winery, Bessa Valley, their Nira line is often mentioned, and Medi Valley Winery. Trying wines from a few of those will give you a good sense of the diversity.
Beyond just drinking it, sounds like actually visiting Bulgaria for wine and no tourism is a real thing now.
Oh, it's definitely growing. It's a fantastic way to connect with the culture, the amazing landscapes, and, meet the people making the wine.
What kind of things can you do?
Lots of wineries are setting up for visitors now. You can get tours of the vineyards, see the cellars, do guided tastings, learn about the history and how they make it, often from the winemakers themselves.
Any specific wine events or festivals?
Well, loads of local ones.
Yeah.
But the big one is Trifon Zarazan, February 14th. He's the patron saint of vine growers. Yeah, it's celebrated across the country with traditional vine pruning rituals, blessings, music, food, wine. It marks the start of the new growing season. Really vibrant.
And just generally visiting Bulgaria.
The scenery is incredible. Mountains, coast, valleys, and the hospitality is famous. Producers tend to be really welcoming, super passionate about sharing what they do.
So if someone wanted to plan a wine trip,
pick a region or two: Thracian Valley, Danubian Plain, Black Sea Coast. Mix winery visits with some of Bulgaria's amazing history sites, Roman ruins, monasteries, old villages, and definitely dive into the local food along the way. It all fits together.
Looking forward then, what are the big challenges and what's the future potential for Bulgarian wine?
Well, challenges. The climate is always there. Those harsh winters, hot, dry summers. It's farming, right? And the global market is super competitive. Lots of wine out there, including from other Eastern European countries stepping up their game.
But the sources seem pretty positive overall.
They did. Because the opportunities are huge. First off, those indigenous grapes, Mavrud, Reuben, Gamza, Dimyat, Melnik, they are unique. That's a massive selling point in a world looking for authenticity.
Sure.
Then there's the diverse terroir, allowing all sorts of styles, and crucially, that quality to price ratio. Bulgarian wines often punch way above their weight in terms of value. That's really attractive.
Well, the outlook is generally good.
Yeah, promising. There's real potential for growth. The focus on sustainability is increasing, which is important. They're getting more international recognition awards, critics noticing the quality and originality. And ongoing innovation in the vineyard and winery keeps pushing things forward. Bulgaria is really working to cement its place as a quality producer again.
What role can it play on the world stage, do you think?
It can be increasingly relevant. It offers something different, authentic, high quality. It adds to the incredible diversity of wine globally, reminding us great wine comes from many places, not just the famous few. By promoting these unique wines, Bulgaria can definitely attract drinkers looking for new discoveries.
Wow, okay. That really was a deep dive. We went from ancient Thracians worshipping Dionysus through centuries of ups and downs, right up to this exciting modern renaissance. It's an amazing story of resilience, isn't it? Shaped by this incredibly varied land, brought to life by unique grapes like Mavrud and Red Muscat, blending tradition and new ideas.
And like you said, often delivering amazing quality for the price. A real treasure waiting to be found.
It really makes you think, doesn't it? How exploring and valuing wines like Bulgaria's wines with such deep roots, such unique character, how that enriches the whole world of wine. It's not just about the big names we all know. It's about seeking out these authentic expressions.
Absolutely. And it leaves you wondering, what other hidden gems might you uncover on your next wine adventure?